Let's go to Luke chapter 13. Luke chapter 13 is the second fig tree passage of Israel. I hope you're taking some notes. Now in verses 1 through 5 of the chapter, Jesus calls them to repentance just as John the Baptist did. Now, before we read this, I want to give you a little bit of historical information here, like a timeline. John the Baptist, he preached 6 months before Jesus began his ministry. And what we're going to be reading here in Luke 13, this is taking place 2.5 years after Jesus started his ministry. And how long did Jesus' ministry last? It was 3.5 years. So with that in mind, let's go to Luke 13 and start with verse 6. Again, this is the second fig tree passage. Bible says, he spake also this parable. A certain man had a fig tree, and that would be the Jewish nation, the fig tree, planted in his vineyard. And he came and sought what? Fruit. He came and sought fruit thereon. And how much did he find? Well, the verse says, and he found none. Now, who is this certain man here? It would be God the Father. And notice that there is one fig tree, and we know that's the nation of Israel, a symbol for them. And this man, God the Father, comes looking for fruit. Does he find any? Well, it says he found none, right? So we're 2.5 years into the ministry of Jesus. And is the Jewish nation bearing fruit yet? The answer is no, not yet, are they? Look at verse 7. Then said he unto the dresser of his vineyard, and the dresser of the vineyard is Jesus. Behold, now notice, these 3 years. Now remember, John the Baptist preached how long before Jesus? 6 months. And Jesus is now 2.5 years into his ministry. So how many years left in the ministry of Christ? There's only 1 more year left. It says, then said he unto the dresser of his vineyard, behold, these 3 years I come seeking fruit on this fig tree, and find none. Now notice it says, cut it down. Why cumbereth it the ground? Is that the same thing that John the Baptist said? Yes, that's exactly what he said. We just read it, Matthew 3, verse 10. He said that every tree that does not produce fruit is going to be cut down and burned. Then verse 8, look at verse 8 in Luke 13. And he answering said unto him, Lord, let it alone this year also. So how much longer? 1 more year, right? How many years left in the ministry of Christ at this point? Only 1 year. It says, let it alone this year also, till I shall dig about it and dung it. In other words, friends, Jesus is going to dedicate special attention and care to the nation of Israel during this last year. And then verse 9 says, and if it bear fruit, well, and if not, then after that, meaning after the year, then after that, thou shalt cut it down. And then suddenly the parable ends, and we still don't know what happens, do we? And friends, that's why we need to go to Mark chapter 11.